Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times Willy B, we'll be reviewing Spider-Man 3. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell?
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Drew back. Drew, how we doing today?
Doing great. Appreciate you having me back on. It's been a hell of a ride, kid.
It's been a hell of a ride. So we're completing the trilogy today. Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. We caught the third one in theaters. We caught all three of them in theaters. And boy, has it been fun.
It has. We were talking a little bit before the pod. Kind of have a little depression.
Yeah. After
finishing the trilogy.
Knowing that there's no more Mondays with Sam Raimi. And Toby and
Raimi.
All of those guys. But so Spider-Man 3 today, again, very similar cast.
Mm-hmm.
You know, basically everybody
the main
returns.
Characters.
And then we got some newcomers.
Yeah.
We got Topher Grace as Eddie Brock and Venom.
Yikes.
We got Thomas Hayden Church.
I like him.
I like him a lot. Sandman. Flip Marko. And then we get Bryce Dallas Howard as Gwen Stacy. Among others. You know, we get Stacy's dad and some new side characters here and there, but that's, you know, as far as main cast goes, that's the additions we get. Well, we'll start with the good. I will say this is the first of the three Spider-Man movies we'll probably have a meh and a bad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just how it goes when Sony says we're going to put some handcuffs on Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
But we'll start with the good.
We want this character in this movie.
Yeah.
And he had the script all written.
Yeah.
Sucks,
So we'll start with the good, and I mean, we get another fun intro, you know, and we get some more great action. Again, I think the acting's really coming along for our main cast.
Right.
I think my favorite thing about this movie, and we can kind of go all over the place with this one. We'll talk about, you know, scenes we love, technical things we liked. I love the closure we get with Harry's character in this film.
Yeah. I mean, just look at the parallels of Norman dies by his glider, you know, trying to kill Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Then Harry at the end dies by his glider, saving Spider-Man. Yeah. Chills.
It's just, you know, when you talk about character arc, I think the character arc in all three movies, for most of the characters, is really good. But Harry's, you know, you got best friend to, by the end of the movie, he hates Spider-Man, to the second movie where he finds out who Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
The end of the movie where he finds out what he can do.
Right.
To the start of the movie where he's like, all right, let's do this. Yeah. And then he forgets everything. It's a wild ride with Harry, and I just love the closure we get. I always do think, like, what if the butler just spoke up a little earlier?
Burner, come on, my guy. Can we tell this guy a little sooner?
Like, he's over here trying to kill, you know,
his best friend.
And this guy knows the whole time that Spider-Man didn't do it. I'm like, come on, guy.
Yeah.
But I know, other than that, like, the closure we get on his character and the full circle where, like, he says, you know, we'll always be friends, and he goes, best friends.
Yeah. And, you know, the second one, we talked about the actor's, like, facial expressions got better. Harry's, like, when he wants to kill Peter, he just has that menacing face, and, like, when he forgets, he just looks like the happiest guy ever.
Yeah.
So you gotta give props to James Franco, because he was good in all three of them.
Oh, he was great in all three of them. I loved him in the third one, too, because I love the coffee shop scene where after he forces MJ to dump Peter, they meet, and, you know, he's asking Peter, how you doing? He's like, I've been better. And he goes, I'm the other guy.
Yeah.
After Peter leaves, the waitress goes, how's the pie? And he goes, so good.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and does that little wink. And that scene, I was like, okay, this guy's bad. Like, he's bad.
Yeah.
And then obviously it comes around and Peter kicks his ass, and that's a great scene, by the way.
Yeah. Little Goblin Jr.?
Yeah, I mean,
we gonna cry?
We definitely get some cringe, and, you know, once the symbiote finds Peter, but that's one of the better scenes with symbiotic Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Where he goes over to the Osborn Manor, and he's, you know, has a few choice words to say, and they just start getting a full-blown fight, and it leads to him saying, Little Goblin Jr., you gonna cry? And I love when he, you know, webs the pumpkin bomb.
Yes.
Throws it right, I guess it's not really a pumpkin bomb in the Sam Raimi's movies, but from the comics.
Right.
And he throws it right back at him, and you see what it did to his face. But
just like the Goblin, like, twisting the words. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just made Harry go crazy. Even when he started getting his memory back, and what was it? Peter, flashback of Peter saying, "Yeah, your father didn't love you. He loves me," or something like that. Do you remember?
He said your father loved you, but the flashback was he was in the hospital and he asked, "Is my father dead?" Peter said yes, but the flashback showed him going, "Yes."
Yeah, yes,
like
that's
very
it.
happily, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
So like it kind of twisted his knowledge of it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Just a really good job. You know, a lot of people, I would say the third act overall was really good. A lot of people kind of hate on this movie, and I enjoy it for the most part, but I think it has a great third act. You know?
think it's a good first act. Gets messy in the second
For
act,
sure.
and the third one I think is really good.
Yes, the opening's great because, you know, we'll start with the opening, then we'll go to the third act. The first act, you know, we finally get a happy Peter.
Yeah. I want to talk
monologue.
about the progression of all three movies. The first one, New York doesn't know what to think of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Second one, they're like, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? It gets to Peter's head.
Yeah.
Like, should I even do this? And
Yeah.
the third one, the city loves him.
Yeah,
and
he's
it
getting
gets
the
to
key to the
Peter's
city.
head.
Like,
it gets to Peter's head.
Yep, and for sure, he has a huge ego. But, you know, we get a happy monologue. He's with the woman he loves. It shows him at the play, and he's smiling.
Yeah.
You know, lipping.
It's wonderful.
Just lipping it. And it's... You feel so happy for Peter.
Oh,
like, he's finally made it.
absolutely.
And then he's kind of turns into a dick.
Yeah.
Like, because then...
He's not listening to MJ anymore.
Yep.
He's like, oh, I go through this all the time, you know, Spider-Man this.
MJ's, you know, gets her first critique and then gets let go and doesn't even tell Peter because she knows he won't give a shit. Like, not that he won't give a shit. It's just he'll just construe it into some way to relate it to Spider-Man.
Right.
And so, you know, their relationship's in a little bit of turmoil, and then obviously it ends to a breakup. And this relationship that we've been following along to, this third one, I didn't love how this relationship was treated in the third movie. Because, you know, I don't know, I thought they did such a good job with Peter and MJ's relationship.
Building up to them actually being happy.
Yeah, and, you know, in No Way Home, we get Peter saying, I've had my, you know, my
ups
MJ.
and downs.
But like, I don't know, the way the movie ends kind of leaves us like, are they back together, or
the last dance is
or,
like they kind of like, okay.
I don't know. I just don't know if I loved how they handled the relationship in this movie. But you know, the first act we get to see like what an ego on a superhero would be like, and I think it's a pretty cool perception.
It is.
You know, continuing with this first act, we get some more one-liners throughout this entire movie. You know, we get, they love me.
Just him with the fake drums too. Just he's the happiest guy at the first act
for sure. And then we get, you know, more Bruce Campbell.
He was so
Has
good. This is my favorite Bruce Campbell.
We get him as the maitre d, and yeah. I love you, kid. Follow me. But no, the first act is really fun. It's solid storytelling. It's a fun ride.
The score is fantastic, like always.
Yeah, I like the score. So it's not Danny Elfman in this movie.
It's not.
I don't think so. I can't remember who it is. But I like the score in the first act. The score does dip for me though. But
what dips for you?
I mean, yeah,
but it's so iconic.
It is iconic, but it's just I don't know.
I get what you're saying.
I won't say it's bad. It's just like I don't know. It didn't feel like Spidey.
Yeah.
When I first heard it as a kid,
I get it.
It's grown on me. It's like I said, I enjoyed enough, but
I like Sandman's.
Yes, Sandman has a great score. Sandman's score is great.
I really like his a lot.
But then we'll hop over to the third act. And this third act, you know, we got MJ's kidnapped again. MJ.
Yep.
This is what Spider-Man means. Like,
Even, it made me jump.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen this movie 30 times and I forgot Harry in the black room just grabs her.
Yeah. And, you know, Peter tried to warn her. Spider-Man has enemies.
Yeah.
He's coming after loved ones. So she gets what she deserved. No, I'm kidding. But no, she's kidnapped again. She's up in, you know, the symbiotic web in a taxi cab. And we get Spidey asking for help from Harry, and this is when, you know, he gets the truth.
Yeah.
And we get this Spider-Man Green Goblin versus Sandman versus versus Sandman and Venom, and I don't know. I have a lot of fun with the third act.
Oh, I do too. Even the briefcase scene still gives me chills.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing it there's time. I was like, let's go! Spidey's back!
Yeah. Yeah, when he opens the red and blue suit again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And he comes swinging in, all the people are cheering. I love, the start of this fight, he's getting his ass handed to him.
Oh, yeah.
Venom's got him choked down, and Sandman's just... And I love when that bomb comes in and hits Sandman.
Oh, chills.
And he goes...
When he's, like, losing power, then Harry...
Yep, he goes, how's my time? He's like, a couple minutes ago, it's been all right. But
for sure.
And then the way they take down Venom, I love that too. You kind of get, if like, that high, what is it?
Frequency.
Yeah, high frequency sound is the kryptonite of Venom, you could say.
Right.
And using a DC term for Spidey, but it is what hurts him, that and fire.
Yeah.
And when all those things start clanking and Venom's like screeching and Spidey has that recollection of the bell in the church, I love the scene where he's stabbing them all on the ground. He's swinging around and then
jumps up.
He just starts running in circles, ding 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 ding, and bing, bing, and it's so good. And then having the knowledge to grab the bomb and throw it in there, and we lose Eddie Brock, which who cares?
Topher Grace, Eric Foreman, worst casting they had.
That third act, I have a lot of fun with.
It's great. Even like the shot where Harry, it's a tearjerker, but like when the camera like zooms out, just the skyline was so sweet, beautiful.
When they have Peter and MJ over Harry,
what I'm talking about.
Such a good shot.
Yeah.
Despite the handcuffs, I will say, like, again, this was technically well done. Great cinematography, the visual effects and visuals in general were pretty well done. There were some things here and there that were a little worse than the first two movies, I'd say, but overall, I thought they did a really good job. I still give Raimi kudos because I know that this wasn't all what he wanted. Right. I know he kicks himself hard for this one.
He does. But it makes me sad, honestly.
I still have fun with this movie, dude.
It's a good movie. When you go from a 10 out of 10 or 2 10 out of 10s to like a mid 7, it is noticeably worse, but like it's still a fun ride.
It's still a good movie. And I think most people that are in our circle agree that this is a good movie.
Yeah.
That it gets too much hate. But that third act, man, and that ending to Harry's story. And then, we get Peter going back to the jazz club and silently apologizes to MJ and leads to a dance. And now with No Way Home, we can kind of assume that it went well.
Right.
But after that, you're like, so they good? Or what's going on?
Yeah.
Back in 07, you're like, I need more.
Yeah.
But
where is it?
Yeah. Where's the trigger? Another DC reference. But anyways, Corey's going to love this.
We're actually doing a Batman review today.
But no, like I said, I'm gonna say it again. That third act was really well done. I enjoyed it a lot.
I love the scene where I hate that Peter hits MJ, but like right when he notices he hits MJ, that like silence
switch.
He's like, oh shoot, and talk about Aunt May being goated when she says revenge is poison.
Yeah.
He kind of brushes it to the side, then like that reminds him, like, oh my god, what I just hit the thing I love the most in the world.
Yeah.
Then he goes to the church, and that scene is fire.
Yeah.
When he drops down into the church.
Yeah. Where he goes, I love the scene when he's dropping down in the sewer to fight Sam, and he goes, later, chump.
Yes. I almost hit the fart. Yeah.
The scene where Eddie Brock gets the staff position and Peter, like, shows the truth. I like that scene too. It's like I said, there's a lot of cringe in that second act, but that's one of the scenes I like where he like pushes him up against the wall. I'm like, okay, it's like stand your position. Dude.
Oh, for sure.
Like even
that's
if you
your job,
even
Peter.
if you weren't symbiotic, like dude, I'd been okay with him doing that in the red and blue.
Yeah,
Spidey. Like,
you gotta stand up for yourself, or like people are just going to run you over.
That dude didn't do the right thing. Like he faked it. Like And so,
I'm begging you, man. Please don't do this.
He had to do a retraction. The first one in 20 years.
Yeah. You want forgiveness? Get religion.
Yeah.
Then Eddie went straight to the church and asked God to kill him. Not the right thing to do as a religious man.
Yeah,
that's a wild thing to ask God to do.
Yeah. Another thing, the good, J. Jonah Jameson was great again.
Hilarious.
J.K. Simmons was awesome. I love the blood pressure stuff in this one.
Oh, the pills.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
He finally gets the right one. Bang! And then he like spills them all over, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. The geeky guy that works there, and he's like explaining that's Sam Raimi's brother.
Yeah, Ted Raimi.
I did not notice that.
Really?
Yeah, I saw his name was in it. I was like, he does look like Sam Raimi.
Yeah, that's Ted
so
Raimi.
that's funny. It's kind of like James Gunn, how he has his brother in the Guardians movies.
Sam Raimi, obviously Bruce Campbell's a person he puts in all of his movies, but Ted Raimi's in a good amount of his movies, I'm pretty sure. Hey, you gotta scratch your friends' backs.
For sure.
It's not like either of them are bad actors. I love both of them. And they're not, and you're not giving them Spider-Man. Like, Bruce Campbell's not swinging around New York City.
Right.
You're giving them the maitre d', for you're just like, hey, you want to be a cameo? And
They're funny in these.
Yeah. So, no, I like Ted Raimi a lot. But, yeah, I have a lot of fun with this third movie. It's a shame that it gets a bad rap. Another thing I like is, in the second act, is when the door...
Yeah.
Look at your rent when you fix the damn door. And I was like...
Then Dinkovich is like, he's a good boy. Something must be
That's why
wrong.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because this whole time you're like, he thinks poorly of Peter. But that's not the case.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
Because he's always late for rent. He's probably like, this kid sucks.
Yeah.
But evict him out.
No.
But he's like...
Now you get why he's okay with the rent being late. 'Cause he's like, he's a good boy. And then the next day when Peter apologizes, he goes, telling him to call MJ and tell her, you're a good woman, I'm a good man. And then he just stops.
Ultimate Riz.
Yeah.
I might yeah.
And Peter's just looking at him. He's like, that's it. so funny. The comedy's really good in these movies, dude. Especially with the superhero genre, we've gotten a lot of movies that try to force the comedy, especially lately.
Thor.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work well. I think Raimi did a really good job at fitting in the comedy with, not overshadowing the dramatic
100%.
element and action
that
a comic book movie should have.
Yeah.
And Ragnarok did that really well, and I think with Thor Love and Thunder, they were like, oh, people loved it. So they went over the top, and it just didn't work. But in this trilogy, I think most of the comedy works.
Even, like, the early Marvel movies, they have a serious tone, then, like, they'll put, like, a funny one-liner just to get the crowd laughing in a good mood.
For sure. Is there anything you'd like to add in the good?
We gotta talk about the black suit. The black suit is so sweet.
We get some great shots in that black suit, dude. I love the obvious. They're two basic ass shots that everybody loves, but they're so good. And that's when he's looking in the building, in the mirror.
He wakes up. He's like, "Where am I?"
Yeah. And then the one where he's on top of like the arched building and he's like sitting there with his head down. And it's raining.
Yeah.
And it's such both of those are such good shots.
Yeah, and one of my favorite shots is earlier in the movie when Gwen's in the photo shoot and the crane knocks the building. She's falling, and Peter comes and he's like dodging like the building and saves her. So sweet. You just see like he's becoming more and more comfortable with his powers, and he's getting better as a Spider-Man. Yeah,
it's I love the Spidey scenes in all three of these movies. I know, like, again, not saying bad rap, but a lot of people say Toby was a really good Peter Parker, but his Spider-Man might not have moved as good as Andrew Garfield or Tom Holland. Yeah. I really liked Peter Parker, or Tobey, God, I keep calling him Peter Parker.
He is Peter Parker.
I really like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Oh, I do too. I don't, like, how can you hate his Spider-Man?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, it's a lot easier to do what Andrew did in 2012 and 2014 or what Tom did in the last 5 years. Like, but what Tobey did in 02, 04, and 07,
right,
again, created a path along with the X-Men and 89 Batman and creating a way for comic book movies to continue.
Mm-hmm. I think, no debate, Tobey is the best Peter. Then Spider-Man's debatable. I think it's between Garfield and Tobey. Yeah. Tom's good too, just, I don't know. It doesn't hit the same for me.
I think Tom's really good at both.
Yeah.
I love Tom Holland's movies. I think Tom gets a little underappreciated because he's a part of the MCU and he's not, standalone Spidey, but I think we've gotten spoiled with three great actors.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. So,
I agree.
So we'll hop over to the Meh then.
Meh.
I'll put the second act here. I won't put it in the bad. It's pretty bad.
It is.
But it's at least comedy.
Yeah.
And at least allows you to laugh for, 30 minutes.
Just think about all the memes and TikToks that second act has created.
We get the... We got the... watch this and the snap and hum, like it's super bad. It is. But you can have so much fun with it and laugh that I'm going to put it in the meh. I'm going to put the second act in the meh. It's, yeah. I don't even know what else to say. I do, it's... The jazz club scene is a bit much at moments, which some of that I think can go in the bad, and we'll get to that. But for the most part, I have fun with it at least.
Yeah, I just wish, they get rid of that corny ass dance. Mm-hmm. But, they kind of keep in, Peter, pissed off at MJ and wants to show her, hey, I have a new girl. I don't need you. Yeah. I think that... Yeah. That's good.
Doing that makes sense, but him playing the piano out of nowhere...
Right.
Kicking down a chair and swinging from chandeliers, that's a bit over the top.
Oh, I agree with that.
But, yeah, I'd definitely put the second act here. I'd probably put some of the score here. I love the score for the most part. Mm-hmm. And the... has grown on me. I don't know.
I have another one.
Yeah.
Harry's accident, him short-term memory loss, I don't think it's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost okay, we have 3 villains here. We need, Harry to, step off to the side so he can just fight Sandman, get his revenge with Sandman, then he has to fight Venom. Then, Harry's back.
Yeah.
He wants to kill you, too.
Yeah, also that accident would kill most people, but,
yeah.
Dude just... Again, we talked about with Spidey. The dude felt 40 stories in a pipe, a trash can, every pipe in between. But
that's super serum.
My thing is again, that was part of the handcuff. I'd put it in the Met too. The selection of villains. I feel like Venom could have gotten a standalone.
Oh, absolutely.
Film. And you could have done a Sandman Gobby Jr. or a Sandman Vulture type of thing. I'm okay with the storyline of him helping Spidey at the end.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I like that too. I just feel like the choice of villains was a little... I didn't love it. But we, even the things that I do like about getting Venom is, we get the Eddie Brock storyline and we get the, the symbiote. We don't get Black Spidey without Venom.
But here's the thing. You could have had all that and tease Venom at the end, so he has his own Spidey 4.
Yeah.
That's how I think you fix Spider-Man 3. You leave Venom out, you introduce Eddie Brock, his hatred for Spider-Man, he gets the symbiote at the end, boom. You have Spider-Man 4, Spidey against Venom.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of different ways this could have went, but yeah, I wouldn't even put... the character of Venom, we can get to him in a minute.
No, I'm saving him for...
The storyline I would put in the meth as far as the villains go. I think Sandman was a great villain. I like the casting choice. I thought it looked really good.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think you could have gone a different route with picking and not saying you couldn't have done 2 villains, but maybe picking different ones.
It just felt like they crammed 3 stories into one movie.
Yeah. For sure.
Because it was a lot of jumping around in the second act.
For it being as jumpy as it is, the pacing is still pretty good, though.
No, for sure.
But yeah, it gets, like we said, that second act just gets messy.
Yeah.
It's messy.
It is.
It's bookended between 2 pretty solid acts, but in between's just a whirlwind of what the hell.
Yeah. Yeah. It's your turn. No, it's your turn. Yeah. No, it's your turn.
But I don't know. I don't really have anything else in the meh. Like I said, I enjoy most of this movie. The few things I put in the meh I've already said, and I do have something for the bad, but if there's anything you'd like to add in the meh.
I'm good with that.
Let's hop over to the bad, and Tougher Grace.
Eric Foreman should have never been Venom.
It's one of those... It's a shame, too, because we gave such high praise through the first 2 movies, and most of the third movie.
Yeah.
That's the only casting they got wrong in 3 movies.
They honestly could have done, the guy who plays Flash as Eddie Brock. A bigger guy. Yeah. Who's more menacing.
Which, obviously, him being Flash kind of eliminates him. But, no, somebody like that.
Yeah.
For sure.
That body.
Like a brute.
Yeah, a brute.
That's my
Exactly.
biggest fret with Venom is Venom. I love Venom. He's one of my favorite characters. I love Tom Hardy as Venom.
Yeah.
But I hate how Topher Grace becomes Venom, and he's the same size as Spider-Man. He's screeching.
Yeah.
And his voice doesn't change.
Right.
I hate how, like, Venom's Venom and he's talking like Eddie Brock.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like Tom Hardy's, like, we were talking about it yesterday, like that
The menacing.
deep, menacing smoker, like,
For sure.
just makes you scared of Venom. Like, if I'm walking down the street and Venom pops out and Eric Foreman starts talking to me, I'm like, what the hell is this?
I
Like,
might give him an uppercut or
I'm
something.
a little scared because of the teeth. I'm gonna be like,
Yeah.
look at this guy.
Yeah.
It's like the big guy that has a high-pitched voice.
I remember hearing an interview with Sam Raimi where, like, he didn't really know much about Venom, but they just forced it down his throat to...
Because he's the marquee villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why he's missing the menacing voice, or he's not, like, huge.
Yeah.
Like how Venom is in the comics and cartoons.
Yeah, Venom is my main bad. I didn't like the look. I didn't like that casting, which is a shame because, again, I love Venom. He's probably one of my favorite Marvel characters overall.
Yeah.
I've read his comics. I haven't read all of the comics. You know, I'm not a big comic book guy. I mostly watch the movies and TV shows. I follow along with comics. I do my research.
Yeah.
It's hard to find every comic these days.
There's so many.
I've read several Venom storylines.
Yeah.
And like Lethal Protector is one of my favorite, and yeah, didn't do it for me.
I agree.
Didn't do it for
Wasn't great.
me. Other thing I'd put in the bad is the smack. Most of the jazz club scene, like that dance scene. I mean, we already kind of talked on it.
Mm-hmm.
That second act is a little rough, but I still have fun with it, so I can't put it all in the bad. But there are bits and pieces of that second act that belong in the bad, and that's definitely that dance, playing the piano, hitting MJ. That's never okay.
No.
Which like you said, I liked the result of it. You know, him getting like, oh shit.
Yeah. Then Aunt May coming over, and when
Yeah.
Peter's at his lowest, she's like, you gotta do the hardest thing in life is forgiving yourself first.
Yeah.
And that is so true, man.
Yeah. So the result's good, but like I wish it could have been something different, not hitting a woman.
Right.
Especially Spider-Man.
In the jazz, too.
Don't let kids see Spider-Man hitting a
Like,
woman.
as a kid, I've talked to you about this. I remember like seeing Spider-Man 3 as a kid, and I saw him hit a woman.
Yeah.
It made me not like him for a minute. Then,
And I get it. Like that's supposed to show how bad the symbiote
Yeah.
makes you.
yeah,
So I get it, but like at the same time, like if you're a kid watching this, you're not getting that depth.
right.
You're like, oh my god, Spider-Man
Yeah.
just hit her.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know, but that's probably it for me in the bad. Like I said, for the most part, I enjoy this film.
For sure.
So we'll hop it over to our final thoughts and ratings, and what are we
Wrapping
giving off
it
for
up.
Spider-Man 3, and what are you rating it out of 10, brother?
Man, I'm just grateful that I got to see these 3 movies again in theaters. It was awesome.
For sure. Made Mondays exciting again.
It did. It did. Had a little hop to my step on Mondays to get through. But Spider-Man 3, it's fun. It's messy in the middle. I'm going at 7.6.
7.6. Okay.
Yeah.
We're basically right on the dot with each other, brother. You know how I stick to halves. I'm going 7.5.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you said it, and we've said it throughout this review. It's fun. You can find a lot of enjoyment in it.
For sure.
Outside of that second act, I think it's a very well done movie. The stories are fun, but it's just so messy in that second act. It's hard to bump it up into that 8
Right.
plus
Yeah. I
score.
agree.
So it's at the end of the day just falls a little short. But 7.5 is still a good movie.
Yeah. I
I'll
think
watch a
it's
7.5 again.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I've seen this movie more than a handful of times.
Yeah.
So
Maybe 20 times for me.
I don't rewatch it as much as 1 and 2, but
Right.
if I'm doing a whole trilogy rewatch, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got the 1 and 2, I don't need to do 3. But like, you know,
Yeah. It's been a while for me
Yeah.
watching it.
seeing it in
Probably
theaters
been like
was cool.
2. Oh, it was
Seeing
sweet.
all these in theaters was so awesome.
Just like the new sounds you pick up, the small details you pick up too.
You know, I don't love Sony for their handcuffing nature, but I want to give them a shout out and a shout out
Oh,
to
for
Columbia
sure.
Pictures for doing this. I think it's a really cool thing. I think it's great for the theaters. We've been in stacked theaters all 3 weeks, and they were even adding showings. I mean, Spider-Man 1 and 2 had like 8 showings added at our local theater. So like, it's good for the theaters. It's good for, getting people out there, keeping these things. I don't think the theaters are close to dying. There was a scare there.
Yeah, COVID, for sure.
There was a scare there, but I'm a huge advocate for going to the theater.
Oh, you and me both.
And I think this is a fun way to keep people going, and I love that theaters are doing that. We just got Alien in theaters too for 4/26, and just keep doing that because obviously I love going to see the new movies, but some people just love to see their favorite movie on the big
screen. And there's so many generations that didn't see the movie in theaters. Do an 80s movie for kids our age.
I'd love to see Back to the Future in theaters.
That would be sweet.
Maybe
that was the movie I was thinking in my head.
Maybe we'll do that in October. Yeah, because they've been doing it for a little while, especially since COVID, but they have really picked it up this year. This year there's been a lot. They already showed the Lord of the Rings, and I think they're doing it again. They're showing all the Star Wars.
They're doing Phantom Menace.
Yeah. So, who knows? Maybe we'll get Back to the Future on Back to the Future Day.
That'd be sweet.
So, we'll see.
I'd enjoy it. I'd go see it.
For sure. That'll do it for Spider-Man 3 in the Sam Raimi trilogy. Drew, thank you, brother, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you guys all for watching. If you like what you're watching, check out some of these videos. Hit the subscribe button. Go check out Drew's channel or follow the social links down below. We will talk to you all soon, and thank you guys for following along with us.
See ya.
See ya.